All right. This is a video just quickly going through my net worth update. I figured it would be great to just do like an end of month update on where my current net worth is, my goals, what I'm learning along my journey to becoming a net worth millionaire investor, which is my goal. And I want to do these just once a month. And that way, just kind of gives me a way to show you what I'm learning and the things I've been working on. So, to start with my total assets to date, I currently have about 4,800 or so in VTSAX, which is the Vanguard Total Stock Market mutual fund. And my year to date return, essentially, since I started investing in a portfolio, is about 26%. Now, there are some weird things in the app that I don't quite understand, but supposedly that seems to be the date of return since the rate of return since I opened the account, which was like back in September or so, or something around there. So I don't know how accurate that is, I will say, but that's what the app is telling me, and it's something I'm still getting used to. So it could be right. I mean, I only opened the account about 2 months ago, but we'll see. I just want to preface with that. So, but yeah, that's where we are currently with that portfolio here. This is just a little mini portfolio I'm building on the side through some stocks I'm more so handpicking to try and learn from. Inside of that portfolio, I have things like GDX, gold mining, MP Materials, right, which is a rare earth metal company here in the United States, one of the rare few that we have. And I am investing in some other things too, like another gold fund. I believe I have GLD. Yeah, GLD. So investing in the actual metal itself in addition to gold mining. So just some things there. And the total return on that one so far is 9.99%, which for me that seems accurate. So maybe these are pretty accurate, but I'm still getting a lay of the land here. And my emergency fund right here, this is actually a big priority for mine. So most of my resources right now are going into fulfilling this goal. The main reason being for me is just so that way I have sort of a financial cushion and foundation upon which I can build up the rest of my portfolio. Because right now, I want to have that locked in should emergencies come up and things of that nature, or, who knows what'll happen or what could happen. And so I want to have that in place so I never have to like reach for a credit card to fund an emergency or something like that. And ideally, that never happens. And so I just have this number here set as my goal. And obviously, as we know, emergency fund goals can kind of be arbitrary. Some people use 6 months, some use 9 months, 12 months. This is just what is best for me. And so this is my goal currently. And my total valuation so far is 20,185 roughly. Um, in terms of notable trades, I did have a trade with BYND. And I've talked about this in some shorts that I made, but really, this initially drew my eye because this was one that I did put in my smaller portfolio that I just wanted to try and check so I can start to understand how companies that have lost a lot of money and valuation attempt a turnaround effort. And so, looking at the sheer amount of money that BYND has lost over the years and how big their name was for a while, I figured, well, hey, this could be one worth monitoring. So I put in a small investment on Friday, and for whatever reason, it caught the meme train. Right, no idea that was going to happen, and so down here, you can see like I was able to turn that $50 I put into about 450, which was purely out of luck because this wasn't the goal at all. But anyway, what I've just done with that is just drew down on my investment, and took the majority of this and then just rolled it over into my emergency fund because that's my priority right now. And obviously there's taxes and stuff, but that's just a notable trade. In my mind, it's purely more of a luck play rather than like a fundamental analysis kind of play. But I just wanted to highlight that trade. And that's it for this. Now, finally, the biggest actions I've been taking this month. These are a lot of the things that I've been pouring a lot of my time and effort into learning. Um, so, first off, learning stock trading fundamentals, things like valuations, PE ratios, different terminology like short, outstanding shares, balance sheet, and starting to really understand what these terms mean and the role that they play in the investing ecosystem, right? And so that way, as I get better at recognizing those terms, then I can get more efficient at understanding the investment climate I'm in, right? Whether I'm considering getting into a stock potentially or, just wanting to, I don't know, read the latest report, right, on what's happening in a particular, set of companies, stuff like that. Uh, Next, learning how to analyze stocks. This is another one for me that's very important because I want to get better at understanding, when a stock is potentially overvalued, potentially undervalued, or hey, what warrants a further look in a stock? Where do I say, hey, maybe we skip this one? And one big thing I'm learning so far is that you likely won't find a golden stock. As in, you likely won't find a super cheap stock that's making a crap ton of money without other people knowing about it, right? And typically, if a stock is priced very cheaply, it's priced cheaply for a reason. Like, yes, it could potentially be undervalued, but usually there's a reason why to justify that pricing. And it's typically something that, warrants that current dollar amount, right? Example, BYND, which at the time was like 60 something cents. Well, that's because they were losing money hand over fist because the whole, plant-based meat craze just fell off a cliff. But that doesn't mean, but just because that the stock fell to like 60 something cents doesn't mean all of a sudden it was undervalued, right? And so those are sort of the lessons I'm beginning to learn around analyzing stocks. And that's something I'll continue to get better at as I go. Next, understanding inflation reports and the implications that has on economies, right? Mainly here, understanding that as inflation goes up, the reality is things get more expensive, which means people can afford less goods and services, right? And understanding how inflation just impacts the economy overall in general, right? And what that does to the dollars that we have and the things that we can buy. Like right now, for example, one big thing I'm noticing here is that our inflation is very stubborn. We're hovering around 3%, and for whatever reason, we can't get back to that 2% mark. And so, what impact does that have on the broader economy? Um, Next, watching educational content from others in the space. So just digesting videos from people, like on YouTube and such, who are just way better and more knowledgeable at this stuff than I am. So I can get a better understanding of how investing in the economy works. Understanding how Fed decisions affect the economy, right? So when the Fed decides to raise or cut rates, what implications does that have for things like spending, like borrowing, our job creation, right? Our job cuts. Um, and then finally, understanding how tailwinds affect different industries, right? One example being healthcare. Like healthcare jobs seem to continue to be the backbone of a lot of our job reports, right? Like when I've read a lot of the past few that have come out over the past year or so, healthcare is consistently adding new jobs. Well, why will that be? Well, because a huge portion of the United States is baby boomers, and baby boomers are getting older, right? And they're starting to enter their senior slash retirement years. And so, because of that, they're going to need extra care soon. And so, that's what's driving a lot of that demand, right? And so, just understanding different things around that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, I'm so excited to learn about this game and get a deeper understanding of just how investing in the economy and the stock market work. And it genuinely feels like home to me being in this kind of element. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds and just keep growing as an investor. But that's it for this video. Peace.